Hello everyone, I just got out of seeing Avengers Infinity War, or just Infinity War as this says, Friday night, actually Saturday morning around 1 in the morning. I recorded this on Sunday already, but lost the audio, because I didn't have it turned on. I didn't lose any audio, I never had it. Avengers Infinity War is a very important thing in its own way for me. How to really describe this? This is going to be a bit different than normal Scott sees something, because Thanos as a character is literally my favorite. The Infinity Gauntlet as a story is literally my favorite. I don't just mean my favorite comic book, or graphic novel, which it's been collected as now, or anything. I mean it's my favorite story, ever. And he's my favorite character, ever. I'm going to put in footage of why. Like, I've literally got Thanos figures, be they Lego sets that came out originally, Lego sets that I haven't built yet. The character is awesome. I fell in love with the idea of him being infatuated with death, which makes it weird when there's a Hot Wheels set. There's a Hot Wheels set. There's figures, be it little Tsum Tsum action figure things, or like Marvel Select and then big movie ones, and you get the idea, but it doesn't stop there. I got everything from the Thanos Rising board game. I'm a huge board game fan. It's awesome. It's big and fun with a big Thanos and gems, and you gotta stop him getting the gems, and it's movie based. And it's pretty cool. I literally got this Marvel chess because of it, because of Thanos. It's just from Hasbro. It was in a dollar store for $4. It's paper things, but he's the king for the bad guys. I have it. I literally am showing that because I forgot to take footage of it when I was getting footage of everything else. Like the 2-pack with Iron Man, with the figure, with the Play School Superhero Squad thing set. I have a pop vinyl figure of Thanos from the first Guardians. I don't have one of the new ones because I couldn't really find them. But you can see I've also got Predator and Thrawn. These are my two other favorite characters. And I'm going to kind of summarize that as well as we go. I have a bank from it, and it's a bank. It's just big Thanos bank. There's a Predator bank as well. Again, favorite characters. I have the bottle opener. Yeah, I found it. I got it a little while back. I have the shirt from my favorite issue. And of course I have the gauntlets. There are the bank one with the simple yellow, which is the wrong hand. There is the foam one like the Hulk hand, which is from San Diego Comic-Con. I had to eBay that. There is the two from the movie now, the little toy one and the big toy one. Of course I had to get that. And I had to also make one as well, because Thanos as a character inspired me so much that my whole thing with Guilty Pleasure Cinema and the storyline I was telling was using the Infinity Gauntlet and invoking it. Everything from the gauntlet that I made myself using a gardener's glove and gems from a Halloween crown and jack-o'-lantern pieces, to the fact that my character entirely invoked it during the Jonah Hex review I did, which I literally rewrote the day I was going to shoot it because they announced Josh Brolin was cast as Thanos. So I went all out with that and just had fun with it, because why not? And there's the poster up behind it. It goes everywhere, because even though I've got the book right there, Death Sentence, and comic books and graphic novels, I've got the original Infinity Gauntlet comic series. Infinity War and Crusader off to the side from these. Because this character is my favorite. There's the statue of him as well. This thing is giant. It's like 2 feet tall. This is my favorite character. And a big part of the reason why is a lot like why I like certain characters in movies or wrestling even, where they're bad guys but they don't need to cheat. See, the best bad guys I find are the ones that are just legitimately a threat. The way to sum that up is the Great Khali. He's a horrible wrestler, can barely talk, but he's 7'4", and at one point was portrayed as just this monster that you couldn't reason with because he didn't speak English. And when he was yelling at you, you couldn't understand him because he was speaking in Punjabi. And it was kind of terrifying in that way. Like, how do you deal with this? Normally, when I deal with an opponent, I can trash talk or badmouth, but he's literally physically imposing and able to hold me there and choke me out, yelling at me, and I can't reason with it. Guys like Vader in wrestling is just this big monster bad guy who's super athletic and just beats the crap out of you like a bear. He doesn't need to cheat. These guys don't need to cheat. Of course, sometimes they do when that happens, but that's why I like villains like a Darth Vader. No actual connection there. Villains like that are awesome. Boba Fett, where they're just good. When villains have to cheat, you get your guys like your Ric Flair, or you get your cheesy villains, and overcoming them is overcoming odds literally stacked against you because they're playing that deck. But when the villain is just simply superior, the hero has to rise above that to get there. My whole point with this is Thanos. I read the Infinity Gauntlet. There's number 2 right there in the summer of '91. And that's really what got me not only on comic books as a thing. I did have comic books before that, and I knew the difference in Marvel and DC and that kind of stuff. But this literally had crossover, and it was seeing all these characters together, and it was incredible. And I loved it. So I got number 1 and then got the rest as it came out. And this helped really define in me what an awesome villain is and can be. And number 4 is my all-time favorite comic book, with the "Come and Get Me" on the front. And you can literally see that I did that with my Indicator character in GPC 77 when I was doing I Come in Peace. And he had gauntlets, and I had all the different characters fighting on the starfield just like in it, and he was taking them out one by one with Infinity Gauntlet. And I did it a year before the movie, but the movie was coming. That's part of why I was doing it. And it literally defined in me what a good villain can be, or at least my perception of it can be. So, to say that it's influenced me and holds a special place in my heart, even if it's nostalgia glasses, goes a long way. Like, I even got the Marvel Superhero Squad video game, for crying out loud. Even though it's got no cover art, I got the game so I could get the game and play it, and it's goofy fun. So they made a movie out of it, and we've been building that for 10 years, and it's the 19th movie in the series of Marvel's stuff. That's all to lead up to the fact that I loved this movie. It is not the Infinity Gauntlet. It is not called the Infinity Gauntlet. It's called Infinity War. It is not the Infinity War comic, which was the sequel to the Infinity Gauntlet. It's just like Civil War and Infinity War, and it makes more sense to call it that, even though really it's not. But it is Thanos getting the gems. So it's the Thanos quest. And we knew this. We knew this. They even said Thanos, it was like he was the lead in this. And it's like a heist movie getting the gems. Well, it's not a heist movie. It's not a heist movie when you break in and smash stuff and take things. Blatantly. That's not heist. That's take. And that's where Thanos quest comes in for it. I'd had predictions for a long time, and I was right in a lot of them. This will be spoiler-free otherwise from that, but it goes about as well as you'd expect. It's hard to say things now without being spoilery. It's only been 4 or 5 days, and I refuse to say spoilers because part of enjoying this movie as much as I did was not knowing. Even though I know the story and had ideas, seeing what they did was fantastic. Some stuff became obvious, but it wasn't painfully so. It was like, of course, kind of thing, right? It was building to this, and happened. And then when stuff starts to really go down, things escalate, and it gets crazy, and it's good. They managed to take Thanos and have it weave from space to Earth to space to another part of Earth to space, and it weaves perfectly through this cast of 60-some characters, all around Thanos and this unified goal of him getting the gems and them stopping him. And they hold back nothing, kind of. I mean, there's things that simply aren't there, so you can't really say they held back when it's not there, but there is going to be an Avengers 4, so we'll get there. But it didn't feel like it was missing anything, is probably the best way to put it. People have talked about how it doesn't have Doctor Doom, and you don't have the X-Men, you can't do Infinity Gauntlet. Well, yeah, you can. Yes, you can. Would it be cool if it was there? Yeah. My long-running theory was an idea that they were fighting, they had this plan, they were beating Thanos and trying to get him, and then he opens up a rift in the fight and gets distracted and someone falls out, and it's Wolverine, Hugh Jackman. The crowd goes nuts. I thought of this 3 years ago. And before the whole Spider-Man thing even was a thing. And then when they did that, I was like, oh. He's there and he sees the giant monster, the Hulk, and they fight a bit. That distracts from the plan because they need the Hulk in the plan to fight Thanos. And then when they see what Thanos is doing, Wolverine realizes, fights back more, and actually fights against Thanos. And then when he's going for a killing blow, which is like what happens in the comic, he hits it, but he's fine, throws him off through a portal, and he's back to his universe. That was my theory. It doesn't happen. Not to say that I'm not going to tell you anything that is or isn't in it, but that doesn't happen. I wanted it so bad. That's how you easily get around it, because you can easily just exclude that scene depending how you include it if you get the rights to use X-Men or not, right? But I digress. Thanos' motivation in this is fantastic. It's perfect. He's not trying to get death, which is a bit of a bummer because Cate Blanchett's Hela was amazing as the goddess of death, and she could have easily appeared like classic Lady Death, Mistress Death rather, in that form, to work with it. But no, this is Thanos' story. This isn't Thanos trying to get with someone. This is Thanos trying to balance an overpopulated universe. He's a population controller, and he's a maniac. But yeah, that's why he wants to kill half the universe. He literally feels there's too many people, and they're going to overpopulate and die. So his rationale is, I will do this. I'm the only one willing to. I will go through any cost to do this, no matter what the sacrifice is. And he does go through everything he has to try to accomplish this. And everybody else is just like, he wants to kill half the universe. He's insane. He's right. But, yeah. So that's the goal. And it's better. Now people will be like, oh, he's so one-note in the comics. Well, I think it's good. I think that it's this weird impetuous desire to impress death that he'll do anything to do it. Even lessening his omnipotence, because he has the gauntlet in the comic book. Lessening his omnipotence and his omniscience and giving them like a .0065, I think it was, percent, which I referenced directly in GBC, to fight. And that's where Infinity Gauntlet 4 comes in, where he fights the heroes. And just takes them out one by one, but he's not able to know what's happening, so they have to use planning and tactics and coordination. Cap and Cyclops are awesome in it. They got the Hulk coming in, Thor's there, Wolverine, and Eros is the one kind of watching it. And that doesn't happen. Because he doesn't have the gauntlet, right? He's getting the gems. So I'm thinking for 4, that's where we're going with that kind of thing. Like the immense battle scene will be there. But that's not to say we didn't get it, because you've seen in the trailers, Spider-Man's jumping through, kicking him. You've got Iron Man fighting him for a bit, Star-Lord jumping around and stuff. Like, we get battles. Oh, do we get them? And they're of that kind of ilk, where it's awesome, where it's just all-out war against this one guy who's just trying to do what he feels is right. And that's the best thing about a good villain, not only when they don't have to cheat, but also when they truly feel they're right. Like, Thanos is the hero of his story. Right? And these are all bad guys. That's where this comes in for him. So, is this the best movie I've ever seen, considering it's based on my favorite everything? No. No, it's not. Main reason is because of the music score. Not anything else. It's kind of a perfect movie overall, in my eyes. I love everything about it. The scale, the visuals, it's amazing. Having 8-foot Josh Brolin CGI Purple Thanos talking with Tony Stark is flawless. Having Thor deal with him is perfect. Having Loki's interactions is amazing. And so is the Hulk. It's flawless. And his children, introduced here. I never read much of Infinity. I have it, but I didn't care about the Black Order. They're kind of great. I love them in this. They're really good. They have instant character that you kind of come to understand. Like, this is almost like some weird, twisted, dark space Thanos children Avengers group. It's pretty sweet. But the music... I don't remember a Thanos theme. The Avengers theme is there, and oh, is it there, for some awesome moments. It's good, and it gets you pumped like nothing. The Guardians have an introduction song, which is fantastic as well. So, but Thanos doesn't have a theme that stands out to me. And I mentioned Predator, my favorite movie of all time. Alan Silvestri's score in Predator is the single best score I can think of. I love Giotti's for Iron Man. I loved his for Pacific Rim. I loved Gregson Williams for Wonder Woman, and Zimmer's for The Rock. Or was that Gregson Williams? Different Gregson Williams. There's two of them. Rupert and Hans. No. Anyway, those are my kind of scores, where it's just thematic, pulsing, amazing. And yeah, of course, Indiana Jones, Raiders, Last Crusade, Temple of Doom. Those are fantastic. Star Wars, Empire, Jedi. Great stuff in there. Duel of the Fates from the prequels. Yes, some of the new stuff from Williams for everything else is good too. Men in Black, Batman, Superman, of course. Like, I'm not going to leave stuff out. Jurassic Park, yes, yes, yes. The Avengers theme is fantastic. There's no real Thanos theme that stands out, to me. And that was the one little piece for me to make it perfect. Granted, yeah, I wanted to see Captain America in the proper red, white, and blue with a shield. I wanted to see Black Widow with the red hair. The weird thing about this is when you take all these characters and you combine them into this thing, finally get to see them together, when you get them there and you change stuff, it's not the way we wanted to see it. But I'm theorizing once again that we'll get that in the next one because things are going to be set right. That's just kind of how things are with Thanos. That's not a spoiler. The whole Infinity Gauntlet comic book is get the gauntlet, fix things. This movie's about Thanos getting the gems. Where are we going? Well, does that mean Thanos wins? I'm not telling you. Does that mean he loses? I'm not telling you. But, I mean, stuff happens on the way, so we gotta get there, right? So that seems obvious to me. And we might get classic versions of these things. I mean, Scarlet Witch is in this, and fantastic. And Vision is in it, and fantastic. And everybody's in it, and fantastic. Black Panther's great. Shuri's great. Everybody is so cool. Okoye. I'm blank on the one I keep trying to say. Black Widow. Cap. Falcon. War Machine. They're all awesome. But some of them just aren't the way I liked it. It's weird. It's weird. But Scarlett Johansson literally has red hair right now for the promotional stuff. So, she's blonde. So why not? It makes sense that she might have the red, considering we're going toward reshoots and having red in the other ones. Doesn't sound too crazy to me, right? So, I do try to make these shorter. This is more of a full-on review type thing. As far as for, like, nitpicks, that's it. And even during the movie, I wasn't thinking about that at all. Like, I gave it a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd with a like. So, I love this movie. I absolutely loved everything about it. I just wanted there to be more to love, right? That would have made it closer to perfect in my eyes. The interactions of the characters, seeing some of these first-time meetings, seeing some of these reunions, it's super good. One thing that they did kind of do was step back on some stuff, which I know, like I was just saying, I wanted to see classic this, this, this. But we hadn't seen Cap go down this road yet, so to see him in that is weird. But we've seen big changes in like Thor and Hulk from Ragnarok, and some stuff kind of gets walked back on. Again, I'm not spoiling anything specific, I'm not telling you the details, but we've seen him getting a hammer. So, like, what, you got a hammer? No, you're this. Yeah, but I want a hammer. It's weird. It's not even a big thing to be complaining about, because it's pretty awesome. It's Stormbreaker, right? The axe that Better Ray Bill has. It's fine. The movie's good. The movie's great. Go see it. You probably have. I plan to buy it and own it and watch it, and it's going to be great. I can't wait for the next one. The closing credits are kind of muted as well. They're not as super awesome, fantastic as other ones. There's reasons. But also the whole thing about, like, the Avengers will return. I love what they do for this one. I love everything about it. Lastly, the ending credit sequence, I'd heard, for the love of God, don't leave. And I always say that, but this one's like, oh my God, you gotta stay. It's not that level of good of one. Flat out. It's not. It's kind of similar to Doctor Strange's, where Mordo was like, there's too many sorcerers. It's like, oh. That's kind of like what happens here. It's a cool moment with characters that are good, and oh my God. And the specifics of the sequence hold real strong stuff for me. I can't really go into detail without spoiling anything, but I've literally told you specifics in this talk that I've had here that relate to that. So it's pretty awesome in that regard. What they are teasing is an, oh, of course, kind of thing. And just look at what's coming up, and you'll get there. So, Yeah, this movie's fantastic. This movie is amazing and great and fun, and I can't recommend it enough. I hope you've enjoyed this little different kind of discussion as to why I like it, because I could just be like, movie's amazing, you know it, go. No, there's a more to talk about with Thanos. It's literally an important character that's defined a bit of who I am as far as my sensibilities. Awesome part is Jim Starlin is going to be here in Thunder Bay at ThunderCon at the end of October, and I'm going to try to get Infinity Gauntlet 4 signed. So that's going to be a great, awesome potential thing. I get to meet him and shake his hand and tell him that he literally helped define a character that helped define me. So that's kind of awesome. And that's what this movie feels like. That they really went there and went all out. And they went all out. They did not hold back. You've heard, it's the Marvel's version of this and this. We'll see where we go, but yeah. So, thank you for watching. This is Cyclops Scott on Twitch and on YouTube and on Twitter. GuiltyPleasureCinema.com. I do movie reviews. I do Box Officer Sundays at 4 on Twitch. I'm trying to get more of these going, and I want to do more interesting stuff like this. I almost mumbled that badly, but check out my other stuff. Any comments, please let me know. If there's enough desire to do a spoiler version, I will, but I'd rather not talk about any spoilers. I'd rather you just go see it. Like, I literally had to cough loudly passing by a small family who was leaving the theater about a block from it, because all I heard was, "It was crazy when he was holding her hand," and I'm like, I did this, and they're like, okay. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to avoid spoilers. I understand. Go see it. It's awesome. It's every bit as awesome as I'd hoped, and then goes all out because they go all out. So I'll leave it at that. Check it out. Comment below. Please let me know what you like. Subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm not going to beg for votes or anything, but hey, if you like it, let me know. I'll make more. Thanks for watching. See you next time.